Thank you, Judge Wilken.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Claudia. It's a pleasure seeing you.
Thank you.
And in line with the comments, think of this governor, the people whom he has appointed to your court. He's trying to diversify the court. And he's done it with the last two appointments that he has made. And we've had diversity prior to that. You're an example of diversity. And I think that's wonderful. And it sets a standard, a very obvious out there standard for appointments to various courts up and down the state of California, and hopefully some of the other courts in the United States. Let's hope so.
Well, Justice Klein, you mentioned the National Association of Women Judges and how some of these women in law-focused associations, organizations have been helpful. And I think I'd be remiss if I didn't recognize that you were the founding president of the California Women's Lawyers, of course.
That's true.
And so what do you think the impact is of organizations like that for networking, assisting building up a book of business, the types of things that really do raise the stature of women in firms and practicing elsewhere?
Absolutely essential. Just think of it. If you're a sole woman hanging out a hoosie at your door saying, I'm a lawyer, and you're looking for business, well, people are going to walk right by your door to some big office that is Jones and Smith and Brown, and a whole bunch of guys in there with a big track record, etc. The idea that now we have a women judges or a women lawyers association where they can get together and work together and support one another is huge, just simply huge. And also, you know, if you're a single woman and you're going up to Sacramento and you're asking for some kind of legislation that you think appropriately impacts women, etc. If you go up there and you're Mary Jones and you say, I'd like to be heard, who's going to listen to Mary Jones? You go up there and say, look, I'm a representative of the California Women Lawyers, and we are an organization of some 500 strong up and down the state of California. Now, I would like to suggest to you folks that we need some legislation in this area. You surely are going to get a more favorable ear than otherwise, and that's perfectly obvious, and it's obvious as to the reason we put together the National Association of Women Judges on the same basis. When we did that, there were states we called and said, can we have a list of the women judges in your state? Huh? What are they? There were states that had no women judges at all. They didn't know what the heck we were talking about. And that was what, 1970-something? And you'd think that every state union would have had a woman judge by that time. But that wasn't the case. So the organizational effort, in my book, was very, very, very important. And women lawyers know that. Your organization knows that. You know. If you were hung out there to dry, we didn't have enough organizational support to get the Equal Rights Amendment passed. We didn't. I'm not sure we'd be able to do it today.
You know, I would point out at the San Diego National Association of Women Judges Conference, there were women judges from Bosnia and Serbia and all over the world, and they came in awe of what the women lawyers and women judges and male lawyers were there. And they came there inspired by this work, and they wanted a template. They wanted to know, how do we do this? And they were... when I talked especially to the Serbian and the Bosnian judges, these women were judges, and then for 10 years they were not, because during the war they were ousted, and now they're back. They have such experience, and they have such heart, And they're coming to California to see this National Association of Men and Women together. And so it rejuvenates you about what we do here and why we do it and what a beacon it is to other countries that it can be done. And it inspires them and it gives them courage. It gives us pride. It gives us courage to take on challenges. So I was really moved by meeting with these women from the war-torn countries and how they struggle for really justice. And they've dedicated their lives to it, and they're paid a pittance. And what they told me is, female judges have no authority. We're considered lower than dirt. And so we're trying to get a group together so that we can be a voice, as you say, in their government. It was awesome to watch and to hear.
Yeah, that's the power of organization.
Well, last question, because I know that we have to close our night, which is unfortunate. We go on forever. So now that we got everyone to answer the $64,000 question, that diversity matters and why women leadership matters. The question is, when is enough enough in terms of diversity? And what do you think we should focus on right now in terms of racial and gender diversity in the courts and in the profession? And by the way, if you want a little help, Justice Ginsburg has responded to that question. She said she'll believe there's enough women on the Supreme Court when there are 9 of them on the court. So I'm not saying you have to go 100%, but what's your view on that, Justice Cantil-Sakauye?
Well, look, California is 50% women.
Yeah.
And we are a majority-minority state. And we are going to continue to be a majority-minority state. And, frankly, in my anecdotal experience, every organization that I know, everyone that I respect, that I get along with, that I go to, has a strong cadre of women in leadership. So, but I want to caution us that we still have old battles that we have not conquered, that we continue to struggle with, that we need to continue to raise to a national level. Pay equality, health equality. Across the board, there are these issues that still manifest. And so while we have made great strides and we have organized, we can't say that we've conquered those demons. They still exist in California and nationally, and as Joan said, internationally, if you just want to evidence Syria, for example, and the pure silence that's in that country about the atrocities on the women, and the children. So we still have many ways to go. I previously gave you the statistics. They're not nearly enough, and they don't mirror our population. And then the question is, sure, maybe it's fair that they mirror our population, but the truth is well, really, what's most effective? So at a minimum, at a threshold, it should be equal. At a minimum, it should be, if there's 50% women, then there should be an attempt at 50% representation on the bench and in the profession. I think Chief Judge Wilken had said it best. The judiciary of all of the 3 branches of government runs on public trust and confidence. And the court's main goal is to be responsive to the needs of different cultures and different people across the board. So we can't be that until we reflect the population. We can't be that until we know what they've walked through culturally, or in terms of gender, or as a mother, or however it may be, as a parent. So we have a long ways to go. And yet, I also believe we have a tremendous governor who's making those strides. Yeah. But we still have to encourage people to apply and to be part of it, and to follow through, and to not be discouraged. So I think we have a ways to go, and we have big issues, and we can't forget and think that we have accomplished what we have set out to do. We still have work to do.
Well, I'm sitting here tonight with this tremendous lady and talking to you folks, a very select audience, and talking about what we're talking about. And I can't help but think about, we live in this world. We live in this world where in India, what are they doing? They're sterilizing the women. They're killing the women along with the sterilization. I think it's easier to sterilize men than it is women. But I hear nothing but they're sterilizing women. China does the same thing. It's sterilizing women up and down the line because they want to go with the one kid situation. And then I think about, where are we in the United States of America, and how do we function in this world? Saudi Arabia. What was the big news out of Saudi Arabia the other day? I knew what it was. They let a woman drive a car. And by herself, she could drive the car, provided she didn't have makeup on. Now, that's Saudi Arabia, and that's down there in the Middle East. And because I got this article today and focused on it, I've been kind of focused on the world, the international situation, and the horrendous situation that so many women around the world find themselves in. And then here we are, we're all sitting here with our jazzy clothes in a big hotshot law firm, and we're looking at these issues and talking about them like the rest of the world doesn't exist. And I know it's very, very, very important for us to do our thing. And this lady is a phenomenal Chief Justice, and I'm just delighted with what she has been able to do. And I'm also very proud of what I've been able to do, sitting there as the PJ in my division working with my crew. We've been at it for 20 years. We've got a great track record. And so I'm very, very, very pleased about that. But I'm also very conflicted about our role in the world and in the scheme of things, and thinking about women all over the world, and whether I should waste my time even focusing on them, or whether I should just come to functions like this and say, we're doing pretty well in California. I'm not sure, but anyway, tonight is kind of a downer for me because of that article I read this morning, quite frankly. I'm sorry.
Well, Justice Klein, I think you kept it real. And that's really important. And I think that it's clear that the courts and the profession and this younger generation and a whole world of countries have yet to benefit from both of you in so many ways. So I want to thank you for being here. We are so inspired, and we're just really honored that you could join us, and for keeping it real and for also keeping it inspiring. We really appreciate that. Join me, everybody.
Thank you. Well,
Thank you.